Think about the last time a woman started to feel distant. Not gone. Just different. You couldn't explain it. You couldn't prove it. But deep down, you felt it. Something had shifted. And the worst part? You had no idea when it actually started. That's how it always begins. Quietly. Without warning. Without a single argument to point at. One week, she's texting you first thing in the morning. The next week, you're the one sending the good morning message, waiting hours for a reply that feels half-hearted. You tell yourself she's just busy. Work. Family. Stress. You find 100 reasons to explain it away. But your gut keeps whispering something else. Her presence becomes a guessing game. Sometimes she's warm, playful, fully engaged. Other times she's short, flat, distracted. You never know which version of her you're going to get. And that uncertainty starts eating at you. You read her messages twice. 3 times. You analyze emojis. You study punctuation. You compare how she talked last month to how she talks now. You become a detective in your own relationship, searching for clues nobody left behind. Making plans starts feeling like pulling teeth. She used to clear her schedule for you. Now she checks it. She hedges. She says maybe. She says she'll let you know. And half the time, she doesn't even follow up. You're left refreshing your phone, hoping for a confirmation that never comes. Meanwhile, her energy feels like a radio station losing signal. Static where there used to be music. And here's the trap most men fall straight into. You assume the solution is to give more. More attention. More messages. More effort. More sweetness. You think if you just show her how much you care, she'll snap back to the woman she used to be. So you pour yourself into her. You become available around the clock. You say yes to everything. You shrink your own life just to fit inside hers. But something strange happens. The more you give, the less she responds. The harder you try, the colder she gets. You start wondering if you're losing your mind. You're not. You're losing leverage. Because the moment your effort becomes unconditional, your value becomes invisible. She stops chasing the feeling of earning you, because there's nothing left to earn. Everything is already handed to her. This is the silent phase most men never recover from. Not because they didn't care enough, but because they cared in the wrong direction. They mistook desperation for devotion. They mistook availability for love. And by the time they realized the difference, she was already emotionally halfway out the door. The real question is, can you catch it before it goes that far? It usually happens in the middle of a normal conversation. Everything feels fine. You're laughing, talking, maybe texting back and forth. Then suddenly, a name drops into the mix. A name you've never heard before. A man. And just like that, the air changes. She says it so casually, so smoothly, you almost miss it. Almost. Maybe she tells you about a coworker who said something funny in the meeting. Maybe she brings up a friend from the gym who gave her advice. Maybe it's a guy from her past who randomly messaged her. The details don't matter. What matters is this moment is not an accident. It's a spotlight. And she's watching to see how you react when it hits you. This is where your ego starts screaming. Who is he? How close are they? Why is she talking about him right now? Your mind races through 100 scenarios in a single second. You want to ask. You want to dig. You want to know exactly where you stand compared to this new name floating around her world. That urge right there, that's the test. The moment you start asking questions, the dynamic flips. You stop being the prize. You become the one seeking reassurance. And women feel that shift instantly. She doesn't need you to say the words, "Am I still the best option?" She can smell it in your tone. She can hear it in the extra pause before you respond. The second you compete, you've already lost the frame. Here's what most men don't realize. A woman doesn't mention another man because she wants you to panic. She mentions him because she wants to see if you'll stay steady. Your calmness is the answer she's actually looking for. Your reaction tells her everything about your inner world. Whether you're a man who trusts himself, or a man who needs constant proof that he's enough. So picture this instead. She drops the name. You don't blink. You don't interrogate. You don't get quiet. You simply keep the conversation moving, unbothered, unaffected, unshaken. Maybe you smile. Maybe you change the subject. Maybe you ask one relaxed question and move on. No tension. No insecurity. Just presence. That kind of response hits her on a level words can't reach. It tells her you're not threatened, because you don't see yourself as replaceable. It tells her you know your value with or without comparison. And ironically, that's the exact energy that makes her stop thinking about other men altogether. Because attraction isn't built by proving yourself. It's built by being so grounded in who you are, that proving anything feels unnecessary. When she can't shake you with a name, she starts gripping you tighter. There's a specific kind of silence that hits different. It's not loud. It's not angry. It's not cold enough to call out. But you feel it the second it arrives. She's still replying. She's still showing up. She's still around. But something inside her has dimmed, and you can sense it in every interaction. The phone calls get shorter. The laughs feel smaller. The spark that used to light up her eyes when she looked at you feels like it's running on low battery. You try to recreate the old moments. You bring up inside jokes. You reference memories. You try to pull her back into the version of the two of you that used to feel effortless. Nothing quite lands the way it used to. Your brain goes into overdrive. You start replaying conversations from the past few days. Did you say something wrong? Did you forget something important? Did you miss a hint she dropped? You become obsessed with finding the exact moment things shifted. You want a reason, because a reason means there's a fix. And a fix means you can get her back. That's when the panic moves to your fingers. You text more often. You ask if everything is okay. You tell her you feel like something's off. You want a heart-to-heart conversation. You want clarity. You want reassurance. And every single attempt to pull her closer somehow pushes her further away. You can feel it happening in real time, and you can't understand why. Here's the truth nobody tells you. This distance isn't a problem to solve. It's a mirror she's holding up. She wants to see who you become when she stops pouring energy into you. Do you crumble? Do you beg? Do you spiral? Or do you stay exactly who you were before her mood shifted? Your emotional stability is the entire test. Think about what you're actually communicating when you chase her for reassurance. You're telling her that her attention is the fuel for your identity. You're telling her that without her warmth, you don't know how to stand. And no matter how much she cares about you, that energy will never feel attractive. It feels heavy. It feels suffocating. It feels like a responsibility she didn't sign up for. The answer is simple, but hard. You stay busy. You stay focused. You keep living your life like a man with direction. You notice the distance, but you don't react to it. You don't go cold as punishment, and you don't chase as therapy. You just remain solid. Grounded. Whole. And something magical happens when you do that. She feels the shift. She feels your strength. And slowly, without you chasing, she starts leaning back toward the man who didn't lose himself. At some point, the conversations change their flavor. They get heavier. Deeper. Darker. She starts sharing parts of her life you've never heard before. Her boss is driving her crazy. Her family is stressing her out. Her friend betrayed her. Her past is haunting her. Everything she's been holding inside suddenly spills onto you, and it keeps spilling day after day. At first, this feels incredible. You think she's finally letting her guard down. You think this is intimacy. You think you've earned a level of trust most men never reach. So you lean in with everything you have. You listen for hours. You offer advice. You comfort her through tears. You answer calls at 2 in the morning. You become her safe place, her therapist, her emotional first responder. But slowly, something shifts inside the relationship. The conversations stop having any lightness. Every talk turns into another problem you need to help her process. The romantic energy starts fading into the background. You barely remember the last time you two flirted, laughed without weight, or enjoyed each other without something heavy attached. The vibe has changed, and you can't figure out why. Here's what's really happening. She's not trying to drain you on purpose. But she is testing how much emotional weight you can carry before you crack. Women are wired to feel safest with men who can hold their chaos without becoming part of it. If you absorb every storm, you stop being the lighthouse and start becoming another wave crashing around her. And that kills attraction quietly. The trap is thinking that the more you carry, the more she'll love you. It doesn't work that way. Overgiving isn't love in her eyes. It's over-identification. It signals that you don't have anything more important going on. It signals that her problems have become your personality. And no woman stays attracted to a man whose entire world revolves around her emotional temperature. A grounded man does something different. He listens with presence, not with panic. He offers perspective, not rescue missions. He understands that her feelings are real, but they're not his to fix. He reminds her of her strength instead of becoming her crutch. He keeps his own life, his own goals, his own energy intact while being there for her in meaningful doses. That balance is what she actually craves, even if she doesn't say it. She wants a man who can hear her pain without drowning in it. A man who remains masculine, steady, and present without losing himself inside her storm. When you show up that way, her respect for you deepens, her attraction rebuilds, and her trust in your strength becomes unshakable. Because being her support doesn't mean becoming her sponge. Presence beats absorption every single time. The slide into disrespect never announces itself. It sneaks in through tiny cracks. A rolled eye when you're talking. A sigh when you suggest something. A sarcastic comment dressed up as a joke. On their own, these moments feel too small to mention. Too petty to bring up. Too minor to fight over. And that's exactly why they're so dangerous. It might start with her cutting you off mid-sentence. Then it becomes canceling plans an hour before you're supposed to meet. Then she makes a little joke about your appearance in front of her friends. Then she corrects you in public in a tone that feels sharper than it should. Each incident on its own looks like nothing. Stacked together, they form a pattern. And that pattern is shaping how she sees you. Most men sense these moments but choose to let them slide. They don't want to seem sensitive. They don't want to start an argument over something so small. They tell themselves she didn't mean it, she's just tired, she's just stressed, she's just having a bad day. So they stay quiet, hoping the behavior disappears on its own. It never does. It grows. Then there are men who swing the opposite direction. They blow up. They turn a small comment into a full argument. They get loud. They get defensive. They make it clear they were hurt, but they do it in a way that looks unstable. That overreaction destroys respect just as fast as silence does, because now she sees a man who can't regulate himself. Here's what she's actually testing. She wants to know what you tolerate. She wants to know where your line is. She wants to know if you have enough self-respect to hold yourself with dignity, or if you'll fold the moment things get uncomfortable. Her little tests aren't cruelty. They're data collection. And your response writes the rules of the entire relationship going forward. The sweet spot is calm confrontation. Not anger. Not drama. Just clarity. You look at her, you address it simply, and you move on. Something like, "Hey, I didn't like that, let's not do that again." No yelling. No lecture. No sulking for the next 3 hours. Just a clear line drawn in a steady voice. That kind of response shifts everything. Because respect in a relationship isn't demanded. It's demonstrated. It's built in the tiny moments when you choose not to shrink and not to explode. When a woman sees that you can hold your standards without losing your composure, something inside her recalibrates. She realizes you're not a man to be pushed around. And that realization is exactly what restores the polarity she was quietly searching for all along. The silence hits different when it comes from her. It's not a fight. It's not a breakup. It's just less of everything. Fewer texts. Shorter replies. Longer gaps between conversations. No explanation. No warning. Just a slow fade in communication that leaves you staring at your phone, wondering what the hell just happened. Your mind starts building scenarios immediately. Maybe she's upset about something. Maybe she's losing interest. Maybe she's talking to someone else. Maybe she's waiting for you to reach out first. Every possibility feels worse than the last. And the longer the silence stretches, the louder the voices in your head get. That mental chaos is exactly what she's testing. Most men can't sit inside that discomfort for more than a few hours. They cave. They send that "Hey, you good" text. Then another one. Then a meme to break the ice. Then a long message explaining how they feel. Each attempt screams the same message loud and clear: "I can't handle not hearing from you." And that message crushes attraction faster than anything else. Because here's the reality. Silence from a woman is rarely random. It's often intentional. She's measuring your center of gravity. She's watching whether your emotional state depends on her presence. She's checking if you have a life outside of her, or if you've been orbiting around her without realizing it. A man with his own mission handles silence completely differently. He doesn't interpret it as a crisis. He doesn't treat it like an emergency. He keeps working. He keeps training. He keeps building. He hangs out with his friends. He focuses on his goals. His day doesn't collapse just because her name isn't lighting up his screen. That groundedness is magnetic in a way most men never understand. And this is where the irony lives. The moment she feels that you're not pacing around waiting for her, something inside her starts pacing for you. Her curiosity kicks in. Her ego gets involved. She wonders why you didn't chase. She wonders what you're doing. She wonders who you're with. And before long, she's the one reaching out, not you. That's the power of self-control in the modern dating world. While every other man is blowing up her phone trying to prove himself, you're becoming the one man who didn't flinch. You're becoming the standard she measures everyone else against. You're becoming unforgettable without saying a single word. If this message hits something real inside you, do yourself one favor before you leave. Hit that subscribe button and stay connected. Because this channel exists to help you become the man women respect, chase, and never want to lose. Your transformation starts the moment you decide to stop reacting and start leading. Subscribe, and let's build that version of you together.